We humans like to think we're the top predator, the undisputed masters of the planet. For centuries, we've hunted, captured, and taken what we want from the animal kingdom. But what happens when the tables are turned? What happens when the hunted decides to hunt back? All over the world, there are stories that sound like something out of a movie. Tales of animals who don't just run or hide. They fight back, they remember, and sometimes it really seems like they get revenge. Today, we're counting down the top 10 most incredible and absolutely true stories of what can happen when people push animals too far. These aren't myths. They're real, documented events where justice, or something that looks a lot like it, was served in the most shocking way possible. Number 10, the killer cockerel. We start our countdown in Ireland with a story that proves a threat can come from the most unlikely of places. In April 2022, Jasper Krause was killed by one of his own animals. It wasn't a bull or a guard dog, it was a Brahma rooster. The bird had a history of aggression and was even moved to Krause's property after it had attacked a child. One day, the rooster went after Krause, creating a puncture wound on his leg that led to profuse bleeding. Krause, who was in poor health, collapsed, and as he drifted in and out of consciousness, managed to utter one word to his tenant who found him. Rooster. He died from a heart attack triggered by the attack, a bizarre and tragic end delivered by a surprisingly dangerous bird. Number 9. The Fox and the Hunter. Our next story is smaller but maybe even more bizarre. It sounds like something from a twisted fairy tale, but according to news reports and even prosecutors from 2011, it is 100% true. This time, we're in the forests of Belarus, where a hunter learned a lesson he'll never, ever forget. The man was out hunting fox. He spotted one, took his shot, and hit his target. The fox was wounded. Thinking the hunt was over, the man walked up to the injured animal. Instead of using another bullet, he planned to finish the fox off with the butt of his rifle. A cornered, wounded animal will do anything to survive. As the hunter moved in to strike, the fox fought back fiercely. In the chaotic struggle between man and animal, the fox's paw got tangled up with the rifle. In what has to be a 1 in a million chance, its paw pulled the trigger. The bullet hit the hunter in his own leg. In a split second, the hunter was on the ground, wounded by his own gun, fired by the very animal he was trying to kill. The fox, despite its injuries, seized its chance and vanished back into the woods. Number 8, the Arkansas buck. In October 2019, an experienced hunter in Arkansas learned the hard way that you should never assume your target is down for good. 66-year-old Thomas Alexander shot a buck with a muzzleloader in Yellville, Arkansas. Believing the animal was dead, he approached it. The buck, however, was still very much alive, and in a final act of defense, it got up and gored Alexander with its antlers. The hunter was left with several puncture wounds, and despite being able to call his family for help, he later died from his injuries. It's a grim reminder that in the wild, the fight isn't over until it's over. Number 7, the avenging camel. This next story is a brutal lesson in cause and effect. In May 2016, in the scorching heat of Rajasthan, India, a man named Urjaram made a fatal mistake. He had left his camel tied up with its legs bound in the blistering sun all day long. When he finally remembered and went to untie the distressed animal, the camel snapped. In a fit of rage, it grabbed Urjaram by the neck, threw him to the ground, and killed him, reportedly severing his head. It took 25 villagers 6 hours to subdue the enraged animal. It was a horrifying end that locals attributed directly to the mistreatment the camel had endured. Number 6, the Siberian bear. Hubris can be a killer, as a Russian hunter discovered in 2018. The 62-year-old man was in the Siberian woods when he shot and wounded a large brown bear. Thinking the massive predator was dead, he approached it, likely to claim his prize or take a photo. But the mortally wounded bear wasn't finished. In its last moments, it lunged at the hunter, crushing his skull and inflicting fatal wounds before succumbing to its own. A search party later found both bodies close to one another, a grim tableau of a hunt where both predator and prey paid the ultimate price. These stories are chilling, unforgettable, and powerful reminders that the wild has its own laws. If you find these real-life tales as compelling as we do, Do us a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us bring more stories like this to light. Now let's get back to the countdown. Number 5, Tilikum the orca. Sometimes revenge isn't a single explosive act, but the result of a long, slow burn. That's the story of Tilikum, the 12,000-pound orca at SeaWorld in Orlando, Florida. Captured in the wild as a calf, Tilikum was involved in the deaths of 3 people over his life in captivity. The most infamous incident occurred on February 24, 2010, when he killed his longtime trainer, 40-year-old Dawn Brancheau, after a show. In front of horrified tourists, Tilikum grabbed Brancheau and pulled her into the pool, drowning and dismembering her. The documentary Blackfish argued that these acts of aggression were the direct result of the psychological trauma of a highly intelligent social animal being kept in a concrete tank for decades. Number 4, the poacher's demise. Our next story takes us to the world-famous Kruger National Park in South Africa. In April of 2019, a suspected rhino poacher snuck into the park with a group of men, armed and ready to kill one of its most protected residents. They were looking for a rhino, but what they found was an African elephant. When threatened, an elephant is one of the most powerful forces in nature. The elephant charged. In the chaos, the poachers scattered, but one man wasn't fast enough. The elephant trampled him to death. His accomplices fled, leaving his body behind. After the man's family contacted park rangers, a search party began looking for the remains. For 2 days, they found nothing. Finally, they made a gruesome discovery: a human skull and a pair of trousers. Evidence at the scene made it clear what had happened. After the elephant killed the man, a pride of lions found his body and devoured it. The man who entered the park to hunt its animals had become the hunted. Number 3, the elephant's funeral crash. Elephants are known for their intelligence and long memories. But this next story from Odisha, India, suggests they might also hold a grudge. In June 2022, a 70-year-old woman named Maya Murmu was trampled to death by a wild elephant that had strayed from a sanctuary. Her family grieved and prepared for her funeral. But the story took a shocking turn. As her family performed her last rites, the same elephant reportedly returned. It charged at the funeral pyre, grabbed Murmu's corpse, and trampled it again before disappearing back into the forest. While the animal didn't harm anyone else, its deliberate return to desecrate the body of the woman it had killed is a chilling and unforgettable act. Number 2, the elephant herd of Assam. An attack on one can sometimes be perceived as an attack on all. In the Sonitpur district of Assam, India, human-elephant conflict is a frequent and tragic problem. But in 2002, after villagers killed an elephant calf, the response from the elephants was on another level. In apparent retaliation, a massive herd of elephants went on a rampage. For weeks, they systematically terrorized local villages, destroying dozens of homes and killing several people. They would hide in the dense forest during the day and emerge at night to continue their destruction. It was a coordinated and sustained assault, a terrifying display of collective fury from a herd that seemed bent on avenging their loss. Number 1, the tiger's vengeance. Instinct and freak accidents can explain a lot. But our final story is different. This is the story of an Amur tiger in the freezing forests of Russia back in December 1997, and it's perhaps the clearest case of animal revenge ever documented. A poacher named Vladimir Markov shot and wounded a massive Siberian tiger but didn't kill it. Then he added insult to injury. He stole part of the tiger's recent kill. For a predator that burns immense energy to get a meal, this was a grave offense. The tiger didn't just forget. It didn't just attack the next human it saw. According to the official investigation, the tiger began to deliberately hunt Markov himself. It found his scent trail and followed it back to his remote cabin. Finding the poacher gone, the tiger systematically destroyed everything inside that carried Markov's scent. It was an act of targeted rage. Then, the tiger waited. When Markov finally returned to his ruined cabin, the tiger ambushed, killed, and ate him. Experts who studied the case don't see this as a random attack. They see it as a deliberate act of vengeance where the tiger remembered the specific man who wronged it, tracked him, and served its own deadly form of justice. From the poacher who ended up on the menu in Kruger Park, to the hunter shot by a fox, to a tiger that seemed to plan and execute a personal vendetta, these stories are more than just shocking headlines. They're a stark reminder that the natural world isn't just a pretty background for our lives. It's a real place with its own rules. And when humans cross the line, every once in a while, nature bites back. What do you think? Are these real acts of animal revenge or just instinct and wild coincidence? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching.